It's the bottom of the ninth, and Jose Ramirez is up, facing Luke Weaver, who was just down, and now he is back up. And Jose Ramirez chops the ball to the right side. Hits the ball pretty hard to the right side. And what happens? Goes right under Anthony Rizzo's glove. All right. Sure. Normal stuff. This is a big deal because you're like, all right, great. Here comes Josh Naylor. He's the tying run. Oh, never mind. Josh Naylor grounded into a double play. Don't worry. There was some Naylor redemption later, but offensively, it's not happening so far for Josh Naylor. And now we're 1 out away. Luke Weaver is an out away from getting out of this. He is a strike away from getting out of it as he gets Lane Thomas down 0-2. And Lane Thomas, having already delivered 2 epic swings to left field in the previous round in Game 1 to blow it open, in Game 5, the grand slam, delivers another one, a towering fly ball, works the count, crushes one to left, but this one does not clear the fence. It clangs off the top of the wall, settles in Aaron Judge's glove. He has to settle for a double, which brings up Daniel Schneemann. Just kidding. There's a big dude on the bench who's a lot more likely to hit it over the fence than Daniel Schneemann, and his name is Jhonkensy. And as Stephen Vogt said after the game, he pinch hit to hit a homer. That's why we sent him up there, which is so great because, of course, Jhonkensy even is like, yeah, try good at bat, just trying to get a pitch, blah, blah, blah. But we're all thinking it. What's the point? Everyone in the press box is like, oh, this is the home run. And the context is Jhonkensy, who was amazing for 2 months and has not homered since the end of August. But because he is who he is, every time he comes up, everyone in the press box is looking at each other like, this one's going to the moon for sure. Because he's just, that's him. That's the swing. That's the player. That's what he brings. But it hasn't happened lately. He has been very bad. He has really struggled. But Luke Weaver, on this second pitch, again, I know he had changeup, which he hung to Ramirez in Game 2 in a spot that he could afford to. This was not the time to hang a changeup in this spot. But really it was, because we were all gifted, as Brian Anderson said in his amazing call, the ultimate gift. Also, one of the great calls where you just get the first reaction is everyone in the booth being like, oh, that doesn't happen often, but it happened with this. So that was great. And that was obviously everyone. It was just, immediately, this was the most obvious. It's a home run that everyone had been waiting for 6 weeks. And he finally did it in the best possible spot. And it was the coolest thing I've ever seen. It was really like, obviously this was not the walk-off, but it was. And that was really the thing, because then Jimenez strikes out and you're like, oh my God, like they're going to keep playing. Not only are they going to keep playing, they don't get the automatic runner. They're going to have to, how are they going to score these runs? They don't get the runner on second base.
The moment that Sheck West's song Mo Bamba starts playing as Jhonkensy's rounding second is the most badass. It was so badass. And like you could just feel the stadium like moving on its foundation.
I know.
The entire thing.
I think they've like edited that part out of the audio of the Guardians clip for like copyright purposes. This happens sometimes, but yeah, I mean on the broadcast you can.
It's so
it was unbelievable. So anyway, then we go to the 10th, and here comes Pedro Avila, who's just suddenly now Cleveland's best relief pitcher.
What did I text you about him the other day? I was like, why are we setting him up there? I legitimately thought he was a coach. Like, I thought this guy was a coach.
Well, hey, he wasn't on the roster last round. He had been their low leverage long man for the whole season. Talk about up downs. This dude crushed these. I mean, every outing was multiple innings for him in relief, but often low leverage. He had a low ERA. He was always good. But this isn't the spot for Pedro Avila, but it had to be because there was no one else. And so he comes out for the 10th, and what does he do? He strikes out Aaron Judge. And at this point, you're just like, all right, well, what is baseball? But he walks Stanton, and then we get to one of the great defensive plays we have seen in quite some time as Jazz Chisholm, with a runner on base, chops one to the right side, gets past Naylor, and Andres Jimenez, who is just incredible. Vogt saying after the game he's the best fielder defender on earth. Why is that guy playing second base? honestly, I don't care because he is truly amazing to watch play second. He lunges and barely gets the ball just in time before it goes in the outfield. He spins. He throws to first. Josh Naylor, incredibly acrobatic, miracle sequence where he's able to keep his foot on the bag for that second out. Rizzo comes up. Avila intentionally walks him, and then Avila strikes out Volpe. We go to the 10th. Here comes Clay Holmes, which clearly, by the way, after in the 9th, I was like, okay, Weaver got past Fry. Like, Holmes is more fresh. He doesn't have to do the up down. He can come in and close it out. But clearly, they didn't want to do that. They've been staying away from Holmes in those spots. But you couldn't stay away from him here. So Clay Holmes comes in for the bottom of the 10th. Bo Naylor, who hadn't had a hit in 3 weeks. First pitch, boom, single to right. Rocchio bunts him over to put Kwan up with a runner in scoring position. Reasonable scenario. Kwan taps one back to the pitcher, and Naylor looks like dead to rights at third, and Holmes like looks him back, and you're like, he could get him. And he turns around and just throws to first.
If there's one thing we know about Clay Holmes, it's that he's not great at field in that position.
Yeah. I was like, he looked at third. He was like, I am going to sail this into the left field corner, and decided to throw to first. And then it's 2 outs, runner on third. David Fry's up, and I'm like, this game is 1,000,000,000% ending with a walk-off wild pitch. I was so certain. I was like, this is the only way this game can end. No, it was going to be David Fry hitting a massive home run. and Clay Holmes, normally home runs, not Clay Holmes issues. It's like everything else, it's wildness. It's like untimed, bad BABIP and base hits, whatever. I mean, this was a sinker that didn't sink quite enough. And David Fry, who's just, what a season for David Fry, just torches one. Not quite as no doubt as Noel's, but that was more of a Noel thing than a David Fry thing. And that was it. The game ended, and I can't believe it. It was amazing.
They asked Fry after, did you know? He goes, it's not often I know. Because David Fry is not exactly an 80 raw power, top of the scale.
But he has been when they've needed it to be, and that's the thing, man. I mean,
but he said he knew. He said he knew it this way. Yeah. He was like, I had a pretty good idea. This
team was 7 outs away from being eliminated last round when David Fry hit that home run against Detroit in Game 4, and now he makes it a 2-1 series, and unbelievable.